If you've walked outside and noticed three bright stars right overhead at night, you've found the Summer Triangle, an easy-to-find area full of exciting objects. In this episode of Cabin Fever Astronomy with the Edelman Planetarium, we're going to explore a pretty exciting area of this patch of the sky, the constellation of Cygnus the Swan. To find the Summer Triangle tonight, first find the Big Dipper. Follow these two stars out to the North Star, Polaris, and once you're facing north, turn right and look for the three bright stars that make up the Summer Triangle. The Summer Triangle is an asterism, and so, like the Big Dipper, it isn't a constellation, though each of these three stars is the brightest in its own constellation. Vega is the brightest in Lyra the Harp, Altair is the brightest in Aquila the Eagle, and Deneb is the brightest in Cygnus the Swan. We've already talked about Lyra, so if you haven't seen that episode, you can find a link for it in this video's description. You may have already noticed that the body of Cygnus has a pretty distinct shape. Part of the body of Cygnus makes up an asterism known as the Northern Cross. As it turns out, the Northern Cross conveniently runs right alongside the Milky Way, so it's a pretty convenient and easy way to find the Milky Way if you're having trouble finding it for whatever reason. The cross is upside down with respect to Cygnus, so Deneb, the tail of Cygnus, is at the top of the cross. And if we look at the bottom of the cross, or the head of the swan, we'll find a pretty interesting star to look at with binoculars or a telescope, Albireo. Through a telescope, the single apparent star of Albireo resolves into two differently colored stars located quite close together in the sky. Astronomers aren't sure if these two stars are truly related and orbiting each other, what's known as a binary star system, or if they are unrelated and just appear close together, what's known as a double star. Albireo A, the orange star, is located about 430 light-years away from Earth, while Albireo B, the blue star, is located about 400 light-years away. Their different colors come from their different temperatures. Albireo A is a relatively mild 7,200 degrees Fahrenheit or 4,000 degrees Celsius. Still hot enough to melt your face off if you got too close, but still relatively cool as stars go. While Albireo B is quite hot at a scalding 23,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 13,000 degrees Celsius. About halfway between Deneb and Albireo we'll find Cygnus X1. Cygnus X1 is possibly the most studied black hole known, and is closely orbited by a blue supergiant star with the glamorous name of HDE 226868. Most stars, our Sun included, release particles that stream away from the star, what's known as the star's stellar wind. In the case of Cygnus X1, much of the orbiting star's stellar wind gets pulled in by the black hole, forming an accretion disk as the matter spirals closer and closer to the black hole, heating up as it gets closer, and making the accretion disk quite bright, ultimately causing the area around this black hole to release lots of high-energy light like X-rays. In fact, Cygnus X1 is the brightest source of X-ray light in our sky. There are a lot of other things in and around Cygnus, like the Veil Nebula and the North American Nebula, that we don't have time for today. So go out sometime and look around Cygnus. It's pretty easy to find this time of year, just about straight overhead early in the night, so we hope you'll get a chance to explore it, and we hope to see you back again as we explore more in space in our next episode of Cabin Fever Astronomy.